Hello, my name is Edwin Rutsch, and I'm the director of the Empathy Center located here in beautiful Santa Barbara, California. The center's mission is to build the empathy movement and to raise the level of empathy in society through education and community building initiatives.
And my name is Anita Nowak. I teach at McGill University, and I'm the author of Purposeful Empathy, a book that invites readers to turn up the volume of empathy in their lives.
And at the beginning of 2024, Anita and I co-hosted the Empathy Summit, brought to you by the Empathy Center, and more than 40 authors of books about empathy participated.
They shared what their book was about, why they were motivated to write it, and what they hope readers will take away. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you'll buy their book.
So we'll be moving on to our next author, who is Gautham Pallapa. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yep.
And Gautham is an outcomes-focused empathic leader, transforming organizations with empathy and technology. He is the author of Leading with Empathy, Understanding the Needs of Today's Workforce. So thank you for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Edwin. Wow, it's really great to be here. There are so many amazing stories and so many experiences, and I've learned a lot over the last hour or so. And I thought I could share a little bit about my background, my work, and a little bit about the book. So I am going to start sharing. This book is actually dedicated to my mother. She was my role model, and she was actually the reason why I started down the path of empathy. She was extremely empathic. She was the head of the department for a really prestigious medical organization, and she was one of the leading researchers in HIV/AIDS. So as a child, she used to take me to various sects of society when she did her interviews and exposed me to all the pain and suffering and adversity that the world is going through. And so everything that I have, I owe it to her. And she had this saying, which was, if you've not done something to improve a human's life in some small way, then you've not truly lived. And that philosophy stayed with me throughout. She passed in 2009 from cancer, but her approach to life and her approach to empathy and helping people stayed with me. And I got into IT and tech industry, which is not really known for a lot of empathy and for empathic leaders. And so I decided that that would be my calling and that would be what I want to do. So I'm a founder of Transformity, which is a thought leadership group that focuses on transforming organizations with empathy and technology. And I work with C-suite and executives and try to help them understand the value of empathic leadership and realize that it's people, it's not technology, that are the true value creators. And that is extremely hard, especially because, so for example, I'm in the Bay Area, and in the Bay Area, it has been really, really bad over the last 2 or 3 years because everyone thinks that technology is going to solve everything. And so they don't need people, which is really weird. But that's kind of what I do. And so that's the thesis of my book, and that's why I started writing it. And there are a lot of things that I go into, various frameworks, the ways that you can have empathic leadership, how you can develop empathy in the organization and within yourself. But today I'd like to share 3 things, 3 insights that are really critical. The first thing, and this goes into the question where a lot of people say that they cannot be empathic, or it is so hard to be empathic. The first insight that I like to share is that you do not need a title or permission to lead with empathy. And we saw this during the pandemic. We saw this where everyone stepped in and they were helping each other. Humanity really evolved in spite of adversity. That's something that I noted. Like, there were so many stories out here about death and suffering and pain, and I have a personal story around it. But empathy truly shines in the face of adversity. And that the pandemic showed it. And so what I go about writing in the book is your actions to improve human quality of life is what actually makes you an empathic leader. So alluding to that much more affective empathy or compassionate empathy, where you're taking actions and not just having an emotional connection, which is really important, especially if you're an executive of a Fortune 500 or a Global 2000 organization. Teaching them how to be vulnerable, how to be a real empathic leader is the first insight that I'd like to share. The second thing that I talk about in the book is the fact that almost every company and every leader talks about transformation, be it a culture transformation, an agile transformation, a digital or a business transformation. The thing that I impress upon them and I talk about is the fact that every transformation, be it personal or professional, starts with empathy. Because a transformation is about radically changing your current state, abandoning everything that you have and moving to a new, better future. And that is focused on reducing pain, which is the essence and the core of what empathy really is. So when you want to reduce the pain in an organization, what you want to do is you want to find like-minded people. And those like-minded people who want to help reduce that pain become the team that will help reduce that pain. And when these like-minded people start working together, they start understanding that reducing the pain creates the value for not only the organization, but also customers and for humans and for people. And that gives them the motivation to reduce the pain. And when they have this motivation and it all works together, they get a purpose. They know what they want to do. They know how much they're delivering value. And that's what causes transformation. And so I try to drive this within executives and within leadership and within enterprises and tell them that you need to have empathy at the core of everything. And I've written about it as well. And I delve into a number of techniques within the book. And I talk about how to be an empathic leader. And I boil it down to 6 simple steps. But at the core of it, fundamentally, that's what we want to do. We want to have empathy at the core of everything that we do. And then I have leaders who come and tell me that, oh, it is really hard. How are we going to do it? It's very soft skills oriented. There is no ROI or return on investment of it. If I invest in this, I mean, where's the dollars? How's it coming? And so on. And so what I created is a simple framework for executives. Again, it has to be less than 6 steps. Otherwise, executives will forget it. The first step before you go to the 5th one. So I try to reduce it and boil it down to 5 things, which I call the 5 E's. And the first one, in order to build and nurture this empathic culture, is empathy. Again, you want to create that psychological safety for people to take risks and have trust. You want to be that empathic leader. The next thing you want to do is empower. In many organizations, it's still very hierarchical. And so you want to enable the teams and empower them. And then engage. A lot of companies somehow, even though they create tools for communication, they are not really communicative. And so having that open, candid, radical communication and improving what I call as the signal to noise ratio, where the signal needs to be higher than the fluff or the noise that they put in, that's what I help them work with. And then afterwards to entrust them. As leaders, we need to come up with the why. We need to come up with the purpose and the reason why we have to do it. And if we have clearly articulated it, we do not want to second guess the how. We need the teams to be empowered to achieve this. And so we need to help them entrust. And then finally, because a lot of it does involve technology, we need to equip them, not just from buying the right software, but also collaboration tools, learning, pairing, bringing that work-life harmony or balance in it. And so I try to bring this 5 E's philosophy and framework to organizations and try to help them on their journey and transform. And that was kind of what this entire book focuses on. It's about understanding the needs of today's workforce and leading with empathy. And so the 3 things that this book really drives about is you don't need to have permission or title to lead with empathy. It's what you do, your actions that actually make you an empathic leader. Um, every transformation, be it personal or professional, is actually rooted in reducing some pain. So it is rooted in empathy. And then you want to create a positive culture. You can't just use technology. It's people, not technology, that are the true value creators. And we as empathic leaders need to understand how to harness that and make our people as happy people so that they can generate the value.
1 minute.
Oh, thank you. Perfect, Edwin. So that's about the book. This book has been phenomenal. I won a couple of awards, so I'm really grateful for that. One thing to note is all the royalty from this book actually goes to nonprofits that support underrepresented minorities, the underprivileged and homeless. So anyone who's bought this book, just by the sheer act of buying, has performed a random act of kindness. I'm a storyteller. I love collecting stories. So I've been so enamored and so excited by all the stories that have been told so far. And if you have stories that you'd like to share, please reach out to me. I love to hear more about it and about all the various amazing things. And Edwin and Anita, thank you for having me on. And this has been great.
Okay, if you could stop the share, the screen share.
Yeah. Technology, 1 second.
There we go. Yay. So thank you, Gautham, for that presentation.